Well, yesterday was a bit of a disappointing qualifying session, but then I said that in Vancouver and we ended up picking up 2 points. So anything could happen in today's race, as always. There's a 40% chance of rain. Safety car could happen. Anything could happen. We've just got to really hope that luck is on our side again. Hello, welcome to Season 2, Episode 14 of Race to the Top. We are here in Munich. I'm Ian, by the way. There you go. I thought I'd mix things up today. I said my name afterwards. We have got the Munich GP today. It's a 59-lap race. We're starting 14th and 16th. Gasly finished ahead of Kvyat in qualifying, if you'd believe that. But we've got a little bit of choice. We're going to be starting on the hard tyres for Kvyat. He's right at the back of the grid. We haven't got any rain forecast for at least by lap 30. There's no rain. And because I was so quick then in changing his tyres, I didn't see it. They're expected to last 42 laps. That's not going to happen. You can sort of expect around 75% of that. So you're looking at around lap 35, maybe a fraction earlier if he burns through his tyres a bit too quick. So that's why by lap 30, we should be looking at maybe pitting Kvyat. We may even try to keep him out a little bit longer if there's no rain, and then he could just do another one stopper and go straight onto the hard. So once again, that's our plan for Kvyat. Gasly's a little bit different. Gasly, we might start him on the hards as well, just because why not? But I think the biggest concern for us is I don't think he's going to be able to maintain those tyres to lap 30. I think that's the big thing that we have to worry about. Starting up in 14th, he's got a lot of work to do if he's to sort of maintain that. In the previous race, he fell a long way back. He didn't have the bonus that he had on the soft tyres, like with his knowledge. As you can see, we've got the light footed, the soft tyres wear more slowly. He can't really use the soft tyres. If we go and have a quick look before I change all that for him. The soft tyres are only expected to last around 20 laps, so you're looking at around sort of 15 laps on average. He might be able to stretch them out to sort of 20 laps, 22 laps, but either way, if we go the hards, he'll be looking at pitting, again, around lap 35, something like that. So I think being able to go onto the softs could be just that stretch too far, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But, but then in saying that, that would mean that I have to choose that option, and I don't really want to do that. He's definitely going to have the race trim, obviously. That gives him a 15% performance increase. We never do that well in qualifying. I always tend to focus on the race because that's where you pick up the points. But I'm sort of thinking we go onto the hard tyres, just because he's going to be on the hard tyres for much longer. And we don't know what the weather's going to say. I mean, at the moment, there's no weather by lap 30. No rain, I should say, by lap 30. But if the rain comes later on, the soft tyres won't be used anyway. So that's why I'm sort of thinking that we start on the hards and hope that the rain comes down around lap 31, 32, something like that, which is exactly what happened, remember, in Formula 3 and helped us win the championship. So let's quickly go through all this and then we'll get on to today's grid. Let's go then. So Daniel Ricciardo surprisingly got pole ahead of Lewis Hamilton, who's leading the championship. Behind him, you got Sebastian Vettel, then it's Valtteri Bottas. They're all starting on the softs. Max Verstappen's the highest, not on the softs. He's starting on the mediums in 5th place. He's got Kimi Raikkonen for company. Then on the 4th row, it's Fernando Alonso, Sergio Perez. On the 5th row, Esteban Ocon, Mark Webber in 10th place. Haas will be desperate for him to convert that to at least get a point. Then they'll be tying with Team Rapax. Then on the 6th row, you got Felipe Massa, Nico Hülkenberg starting on the hards, ahead of Romain Grosjean, Pierre Gasly. They're all on the hards so far. Lance Stroll's mixing things up a bit. He's on the mediums in 15th place. He's got Danny Kvyat for company, who's starting on the hards. Then behind him, you got Carlos Sainz, Jenson Button on the mediums in 18th. And at the back of the grid for Rapax team, you got Nick De Vries and Johnny Sosotto Jr. in 19th and 20th. They're both starting on the hards. They're going to try and do a similar strategy to us and try and go at least halfway and do a one-stopper. That's their plan. That's our plan. Let's get into today's race, where we are in Munich once more. Let's cut to Gasly. He's slightly further up the grid than us. In the previous race, we didn't do that, as Gasly got away pretty well. Kvyat had a poor start, but so did everyone behind him, as Gasly's moved up to 13th place, so he's managed to jump Grosjean, and he has that inside line. Now, one of the Renaults has run wide. That was Hülkenberg that ran wide. That's great news for us. That's giving him a lot of work to do, as Gasly is on an absolute charge. He's up to 10th now. What a great so he's up to 9th. How good are we going? Webber's dropped out of those points positions. Gasly's happy, but Perez has come storming back and retaken 9th place. As look at how tight everything is at the moment. Kvyat's still down in 17th place. If he doesn't drop any more places, we can be quite happy with that because he has that first lap trait where he loses all his attributes. We don't want him to drop too far back. But as I was saying, in Vancouver, I went, let's focus on Hamilton. And I thought, I shouldn't really have done that. I should focus on our team. Our cars are more important than the front runners. We're not vying for the championship. So Gasly is in a one-on-one battle with Perez. Perez has come back, though, because he does have the energy recovery system in use. Same with Ocon, who's right behind him. But Gasly is holding on in 9th place at the moment. Kvyat's on his own in 16th place. Let's quickly cut back to him. As you can see, there's a bit of a gap there. What's great is Soto Jr. seems to be holding Hulkenberg up there. You can just about see them behind. And both Renaults have had a terrible start to this race, which suits us down to the ground because that's who we're battling for 7th place in the championship. Meanwhile, Gasly is in 10th place, so we do stand to pick up a point the way things stand at the moment. Very, very early days. Let's quickly speed things up because he's got Massa right behind him for company. Now, once the fuel gets to around 1 lap deficit, then we'll drop the fuel back a little bit. Purely because we don't want to be burning through too much. We can save fuel quite quickly on this track as Webber has come back and has overtaken Gasly to retake 9th place, but it's not over yet. As Gasly comes back, he's going to have that inside line and he holds him off and retakes 9th place. Alonso doesn't have much to worry about here because all the battles are happening behind him and he's sitting in 8th place quite comfortably for McLaren. But Kvyat is also climbing up very, very slowly. He's having a real tussle with Grosjean, but Stroll has overtaken him, so he's dropped back down to 16th place, and he's not too happy about that. So he's got a lot of work to do for any sort of recovery that he may have after a pretty poor start. But that's where he started 16th, so he's got a little bit of work to do. But he has managed to get ahead of Stroll, who didn't have the best of starts. He qualified quite well, but he's slipped quite far back. Hulkenberg's up to 17th now, and Carlos Sainz is still down in 19th place. So Hulkenberg getting ahead of Soto Jr. is really, really important. And the good thing is Kvyat's got Stroll in between him and Hulkenberg. So Hulkenberg's going to have to get past Stroll to have a charge attack at Kvyat, but as you can see in the background, Hulkenberg's got that raw pace. Stroll just about holds him off in the corners, but now it's brought Kvyat right into that mix, and Hulkenberg has to back away. It looks like the Williams are really, really good on the corners and just lose a little bit on the straights. As you can see, we're quite good on those straights, but then on the corners we seem to lose a lot, so that's something that we do have to bear in mind. Gasly, meanwhile, is doing fantastically well. He's the highest of the hard-placed compound tyres. I said hard place. Did I say hard place then? I think I did. But he's ahead of Ocon on the soft tyres, and Ocon is not really doing very much. Webber's down in 11th place, but look at it. It's a real close battles going on behind Gasly, as Webber's managed to get ahead of Ocon there. As you can see all those cars. Let's quickly cut to Webber, if the camera can focus on them. Look at it all there. There's 10th, there's 11th of, who's that? That's Massa. Then you got Ocon, then you got Button right in there, and Stroll, then Grosjean, and then it's Kvyat all the way down in 16th place, and he's got Button. No, that's not Button. Who's that? That's Soto Jr. right behind him. We don't want them to be closing in if we can help it, but Kvyat's going to be holding them up as much as possible so that Gasly can build a bit of a lead. They've already got quite a huge lead. I mean, Gasly's already got, what's that, a second to 3 seconds, 3.1 seconds, something like that over Kvyat. So the fact that Soto, Hulkenberg, Sainz, De Vries, the guys that we're worrying about are all behind us. So that's really good. As long as Kvyat can keep all 4 of them behind us, I'll be happy with that. But Button and Grosjean ahead of Kvyat are tussling away there. So Kvyat's not quite out of this. He may be able to have a sneaky look as he's defending from Soto Jr. there. So Soto Jr. seems to be on a bit of a charge. Team Rapax are desperate. They know that, look, Webber's there. Has stand to pick up a point here, and they are going to be really, really desperate to not lose anything, or at least not draw level, because as you can see, Haas haven't scored a point yet, but 1 point will surely see them be ahead of Rapax just based on averages of their usual finishing position. But it is early days yet because Massa's just about held off Webber for that 10th place. As you can see there, he's actually built up a bit of a lead. There's Webber right behind, so he's got a lot of work, and there's 3 cars right behind him of Ocon, Stroll and Button, who are going to be closing in and keeping Webber for company. Up the front, though, all on the softs, Vettel has built up a huge lead over Ricciardo. He must have had a fantastic start because Ricciardo started on pole. but as you can see, not much has happened. I think Vettel started third from memory. Then it was Ricciardo was on pole. Hamilton was second. I'm pretty sure that was how it started. As we'll have a quick look back then. So Hamilton in third place. He's got his teammate right behind him. That's Ricciardo in the distance. But we can sit quite comfortably now. We're in ninth place, so we do stand to pick up a couple of points. But we do have to keep an eye on the weather, because if that rain comes down, then that's going to change things a little bit. But at the moment, we don't have too much to worry about. Let's back off our tyres just a touch. I'm going to be interested to see if they can go the whole race. We might have to go past that 25% tyre wear. I think that's what we're most likely going to have to do, because it's a 59 lap race. If we can get to lap 30, 31, 32, maybe even 33, then we can pit, we can go back onto the hard tyres, and that one stopper could prove really, really crucial, because teams like Force India, like you got Ocon there, you got Massa, for instance, even Alonso, as Gasly's just lost out to Massa, but regained that position on that weird corner again, where the inside line seems to dominate. They most likely will have to pit twice, I think, because they've started on the soft tyres, and they're not going to be able to go half the race distance. So unless like the rain comes down by lap sort of 44, I think they may be at a bit of a disadvantage. So as long as Gasly can keep up with them on the hard tyres, that gives Gasly a good opportunity to pick up a lot of points. As you can see, his pace is very, very good at the moment. We're already on lap 12, and he's burning through his tyres. We're already at 65% wear, 67% wear for Kvyat. That's where Kvyat's got slightly better attributes. He doesn't burn through his tyres quite as quickly as Gasly. The only reason Gasly did so well, remember, in that previous race was because of that trade he had through his mechanic, where he didn't burn through the soft tyres quite as quickly. But you can expect... I mean, look, we're at lap 13 now, and we're already at 63% wear. What we're hoping for is we're looking for around lap 16, 17... to be at 50% tyre wear, because then that will mean that we can get to lap 30 quite comfortably. But at the moment, I'm not too happy with how they're doing. 62% wear, 63% wear, that's not great. I'm a little bit concerned about that. Kvyat, meanwhile, is basically holding position in 15th place. He's not quick enough to catch up to Ocon, but admittedly Ocon has got the soft tyres. Everyone ahead of him, except for his teammate, are all on softer compounds, as Bottas has managed to get ahead of Lewis Hamilton there. You can just see that they've used team orders to allow Bottas to pass. So Kvyat's not in a terrible position on these hard tyres. He's not being sort of held up, which is most important. But what we have to be mindful of is the tyre wear. If you have a look at Sainz there, his tyre wear's so much better than Kvyat. So they could definitely go one stopper. They could definitely do that on Sainz's car. Maybe even Hülkenberg as well. Kvyat, I'm not so sure about. We're on lap 15 now, and we're at 57, 59% wear. So this is going to be quite touch and go. We're going to have to go past that 25%, which is usually the sweet spot. 20 to 25% of tyre wear. That's usually the sweet spot for changing tyres, for going into the pits. We might have to go past that a little bit, go right into the tyre wear, hope that the pace doesn't drop too dramatically, then do a one stopper around lap 32, 33, go onto the hard tyres, and hopefully that'll get us to the end of the race. That's the plan. The medium tyres, they could do it potentially, but it would be very, very tough. It really hinges. I mean, if like a safety car is to come out before lap 30, like sort of now especially, would be really, really beneficial. If a safety car is to come out now, then that could come into our favour, but we'd have a tough decision to make, because if a safety car came out now, we could sort of say, well, let's pit now, and then we'll have to pit again later on in the race. We could pit on to, say, soft tyres, maybe the mediums, and then pit again on go onto the softs. That could be an option for us, but really we don't want that. I certainly don't want that, as the tyre temperatures are climbing a little bit, so let's back them off whilst I'm chatting away. But the fact that we're sort of holding position, I mean, this is more like the Formula 1 I know and love, because there is not much happening on track. There hasn't been many overtakes. Everyone's sort of holding position. You have a look on the mini-map, Vettel's pulling well away. There is a bit of a fight for second there, because Ricciardo, Hamilton and Bottas are all very, very close together. Let's quickly cut over to them, because it's a bit more exciting than what's going on with our drivers. But in saying that, there you go. So there's Ricciardo. Then you got Hamilton, who's using ERS, who's ahead of his teammate Bottas. But Hamilton's right on the tail of Ricciardo now. So this is for second place. Ricciardo's just confirmed he's going into the pits. Look at his tyre degradation compared to everyone else. So that makes logical sense. They're going to have to go into the pits. So it'll be interesting to see what tyres Ricciardo comes out on. Let's just stay on him, because neither of our guys are really under threat or challenging anyone at the moment. So let's keep an eye on Ricciardo. We're going to spin this around this way so that we can see pit stops, as it was a good stop from Ricciardo, who's coming out onto the medium tyres. Now, he will not be able to go the whole race on that. We're only on lap 19, so he's not going to be able to go the whole race there. So that's going to be interesting. He did manage to ward off any threat from his teammate Verstappen, but Verstappen did just squeeze past him. But Ricciardo's regained it, so he's back up in the 6th place. So that's quite interesting. So it'll be interesting to see how he does with this lap, because this could be a potential undercut here, but it doesn't look like Hamilton and Bottas are in any hurry to pit. They're doing very, very well on those tyres. Now, if we quickly cut back to Kvyat, as you can see, Ocon will be pitting very, very soon. In fact, he's pitting now. There is Ocon now. He is diving into the pits. So Kvyat has moved up now, and this is a possibility of where things like an undercut could happen. We're not worrying about the undercut too much, because we're trying to go for the long game. We're just worrying about, let's go and get as far as we can on these hard tyres. But I'm not comfortable with our current rate of tyre wear. We're at 43 and 41%. We're only on lap 21. So this could be really, really tough for us. So I think if we can get to lap 30, I'll be happy with that, because we've got a lot of work to do. But Pierre Gasly is still improving his times all the time. He's just set a personal best of a 1:27.6. He moves up into 6th place because it looks like Alonso's dived into the pits there, so that's why he's moved up. But he has got Massa for company. Now, there's Massa there. Now, Massa is pitting, so that works out well for us. The fact that they're pitting behind us, he's about, what's the difference there? Where are we? He's 1.2 seconds behind, so that's perfect undercut territory for the Williams there. But we don't need to worry about pitting just yet. Kvyat he's down in 14th place. Alonso managed to overtake him, but of course he's got fresh rubber, so you can expect that. Massa's going to be dropping way back there. Look at how far he's dropped back. He's coming out on the soft tyres as well. Let's have a quick look, as there's still no rain forecast, so that sort of plays into our hands just a little bit. But we are not going to be able to go the whole race on these tyres by the looks of it. We might have to do a 2-stopper here. Going right to lap 30 could be really, really difficult. But our pace is still very good at the moment, so I'm not sort of worrying too much, because we're still improving on our pace. In fact, both are Kvyat. Look, he's up 3/10 on his pace. He just got into the red there for the first time by the looks of things. But Gasly's doing very, very well in 8th place. So I think we can sort of hold off. Maybe I'm a little bit too worried. I'm just looking at that tyre wear, because obviously as the tyres get degrade more and more, it becomes harder and harder. They start degrading quicker and quicker. It's sort of like a graph that sort of climbs up. The degradation climbs up much faster, as the tyres get more and more worn. So going to lap 30 could be very, very difficult. But the longer that we can keep them going, the better. That's why it's going to be crucial to keep the tyre temperatures right in that sweet spot, so that they don't lose too much, as Gasly's now starting to lose a little bit of pace there, and he had a nice clean track. He's got Stroll right behind him, who started on the mediums. And look at the tyre wear between the Williams and ours. He's on the medium compound tyre, and he hasn't got nearly as much degradation as Gasly does, and Stroll will be catching up to Gasly before you know it. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if he overtakes Gasly before Gasly dives into the pits. Now, Bottas has just set the fastest lap with a 1:25.8. Gasly's still doing okay for pace. Kvyat's dropping off just a touch, but as you can see, we are getting close to that sweet spot ourselves now, so it's going to be quite interesting. Let's bump our engine modes up just a little bit, just to ward off any potential threat from the guys behind us. Like Science, for instance, he's going to be closing in on Kvyat, and of course, as you can see on the screen, Stroll is closing in on Gasly as well. So going to lap 30 could be very difficult. There's a 4-lap window here before we can sort of really think about pitting. I'm kind of hoping we may be able to stretch them as long as we can, do a 1-stopper, but it all hinges on this pace, because we're going to be losing time. Now we're going into that degradation area. Well, look, we're at 25% on Gasly's car now. So now we're dropping into that. We're going to have to be a little bit mindful that he's going to be, dropping places before he comes in, before he comes into pit. He might sort of lose out to Stroll, something like that. But at the moment, we're quite happy. 23%. I don't want it to go too low. I mean, 10% might be a little bit too low, but that could be a gamble that could pay off. It could be a risky strategy that could work. And as you can see, Gasly's pace is still fantastic, because we've got the fuel that was in the positive, so we can burn through the fuel a little bit, and that is keeping us quite good for pace. But we are very, very mindful of the tyre wear now, because Gasly's at 21%, Kvyat's at 23%. I'm saying lap 30, I don't think we're going to be able to do it. There's 2 laps to go. If we can keep going at this rate, we may be able to stretch these hard tyres out. It's going to be really, really tough. As Hamilton's managed to get ahead of Perez. Now, Perez hasn't pitted yet, so that's why he's as high up as he is. You can expect to see Bottas and Ricciardo closing in on Perez. Raikkonen's come back out onto the soft tyres. He started on the softs, remember, so keep an eye on him. I'd be interested to see, because he will definitely have to pit again. Massa will have to pit again. Look at Ocon. Look at that tyre wear. He's pitted very, very recently, and he's really burning through those soft tyres. We're doing okay at the moment. Pace is starting to drop off a little bit. As you can see, both our drivers are starting to struggle, but unsurprisingly, because our tyre wear is appalling. So now we have to start looking at when do we pit. Do we try and stretch them out for another lap? This could be the interesting thing. Keep an eye on that pace. Now, Kvyat's not doing too bad for pace at the moment, but Gasly's just, look at that, he's perfect at the moment. He did very, very similar times. As long as it's not dropping off too much, we're okay. There we go. There's the big marker there. 30 laps to go. Now we can start thinking, when do we pit, when do we pit, when do we pit? I think we send Gasly around once more. That will really, really benefit him. So now what we're going to do, let's go into full attack mode and let's pit. And we're going to go onto the hard tyres again. Now, this will see him to the end of the race, which is most importantly the most important thing. Now, Kvyat is a long way behind, so we can actually double stack them, which is what we're going to do here. I'm just going to quickly check everything's all good, and we're going to bump him up as well. Let's bump the engine modes down a bit because they have just gone into the deficit. And we're going to see how they both do. We're going to cut back to Gasly because Gasly is going to be the one that's going to be pitting first. Now, he's caught up to Verstappen by the looks of it. Maybe something happened to Max Verstappen because, as you can see, Gasly's right on his tail. Stroll's right behind him as well. But Stroll will have to be going into the pits too soon as well. Very, very soon. Now, Gasly comes in. Please no stuff-ups, guys. It was a good stop from Gasly. That's important. Where does that funnel him out? He comes out in 13th place. That's not too bad, you know. I'm quite happy with that because when you look, Button will have to pit soon. So will Webber. So will Stroll. So Gasly's back up in the points, I like to think. Now, I didn't see Kvyat stop, but he didn't seem like that was too bad either. Now, Gasly is defending from Sainz, who has not stopped yet, and we're going to try and go to the end of the race. So we may even have to sort of let him go through. But sitting in 13th place, that puts us in a good position. We managed to go a long way on that first stint. So the one stopper's looking really, really good. There's no rain forecast, so the one stopper could really, really benefit us. We got Sainz behind. That's who we're battling. Sainz and Hulkenberg. They haven't pitted yet. You got De Vries and Soto Jr. They're way off. Soto Jr. Look, he's so far, such a long way back. So their race is effectively over. Webber is up in the points for Haas at the moment. Grosjean for Haas, he's way down in 17th, so he's not going to be doing anything. And Kvyat's got nice fresh rubber to burn through. Now what we might do, we might bump Gasly up a bit because he's got nice clean track. And Kvyat's also got a bit of clear air as well, so let's bump him up. But as you can see, he's closing in on Grosjean. Button has pitted and come out ahead of Kvyat, but Grosjean may be holding Kvyat up a touch, so we may have to keep an eye on that. But Gasly's up into 12th now. We do still have a couple of people, like Webber's going to have to pit, and that could be very, very tight to see where he comes out. Let's have a quick cut. Now, Stroll's just dived into the pits, and there goes Webber there. There's Stroll, and Stroll... Where has he come out? He's come out behind. That's what we wanted to see. So they stayed out maybe a lap too long because he has not closed up on Gasly. So Gasly maintains that position, which is great for us. And it means Gasly can battle on. He's chance to pick a point at the moment. Now, Massa will have to pit again. We're going to go to the end of the race, remember. Massa will have to pit again. Alonso should be able to go the whole race, maybe. I don't think he might have to pit as well. So we could move up into 8th as long as nothing happens, as long as there's no safety car now, because we're going to be on slower tyres, which could really, really hurt us. But if there's no safety car, this is going to be a gamble that will really, really pay off for us, because Massa will have to pit. And same with Alonso. I don't think Alonso's going to be able to go the whole race on those medium tyres. There's 24 laps to go. That could be really, really tricky. But look at Stroll. He's closing right in on Gasly now. So he's going to be really, really pushing for that 10th place. We're going to have to back Gasly off just a touch as Stroll has a look. Let's bump his engine mode up now as we come up onto that long straight, just to ward off any potential overtake. And he just about does it. But Williams remember where they closed down. They closed down on those corners, and that's exactly what happened. As soon as we got to the tight, twisty section, that's where Stroll started to close up. And Gasly's got a lot of work to do. Battling away with Stroll, I think it may be a battle that we lose, I think. But let's back them both off a little bit. There goes Stroll now. He's having a look on the inside. He got him on the outside, but Gasly, again, he holds off and he defends him 10th place. As long as Stroll... Let's have a look. See, Stroll is really burning through his tyres at the moment to get ahead of Gasly. He's managed to do so, and we drop out of the points with that. But as long as we can stay close to him, then we may be in with a chance. Because when you think, like, if a Massa will pit, so that'll bump everyone up. So Stroll will go up to 9th, Gasly will go up to 10th, but Alonso will most likely have to pit as well right near the end. So, sorry if you heard that. That was me just dropping my pen. So we're still on for a points finish with Gasly. Kvyat, meanwhile, is not doing a thing, is he? And he's right behind, as there he goes. He manages to squeeze past Grosjean, who we're getting blue flag now because Vettel is right behind us. So Kvyat's going to lose a little bit of time here, which is going to be a really annoying thing. There you go. So he's dropped behind, but he's got a lot of fuel to burn through now, so we can sort of leave him on that fuel burn. But down in 16th place, I think his race is pretty much done. He will bump over Ocon and maybe Sainz. Yeah, he will bump ahead of Sainz as well, but unfortunately, I think his race is pretty much over. Gasly, meanwhile, he's sitting down in 11th place. He's fallen a long way behind. Look, he's 3.2 seconds off of Stroll already, and you know that's really, really disappointing to see. As Kvyat's now overtaken Ocon's, because Ocon's just dived into the pits. So Kvyat's moved up into 15th place. As long as we don't finish 11th. I mean, if we finish 12th, you know, we're nowhere near the points. If we finish 11th, I'll be really annoyed, because just picking up a point would be great. Because what we want to do is, as long as we stay ahead of Webber, that's the big one. Remember, because they're Haas. I don't want to see Haas go down into Formula 2, but as long if it means Haas going down and us surviving, then you know I think we all know which option I'd rather. But as long as we stay ahead of Webber, Grosjean, Sissotto, and Debris, I can't really complain too much. But hey, the more points we get, the better. Particularly as the Renaults of Sainz and Hülkenberg are down there. And if we have a look, they're only 3 points ahead of us in the championship. So every point that we can get really, really helps us. But this is going to be really, really tight as we get to the end, because tyre wear is not doing too badly at the moment. I didn't see how many laps we've got. We've got about 18, 19 laps to go. So Massa still yet to go into the pits at the moment. As there goes Sainz now. So Sainz has just dived into the pit. So Kvyat moves up into 14th place, and Sainz drops behind his teammate Hülkenberg, and Ocon has got him as well. But look at all these guys on fresh rubber behind Kvyat. So Kvyat's going to have hard work holding on to 14th place. But the good thing is Gasly is a long way ahead. He's about 13 seconds up the road from Kvyat. So we don't really have to worry about the Renaults of Hülkenberg and Sainz too much, unless a safety car comes out. If a safety car comes out, that's when the race starts to come back to those guys, because if the safety car comes out, we all get bunched up. They're going to be on fresh rubber. We're going to be on worn, hard tyres, and our race could be totally ruined at that point. But we're doing all right at the moment. Gasly's holding off Webber. He's got a 3-second lead over Webber, so that's good news to see. And at the moment now, Massa will be diving into the pits soon, surely. There he goes there. So Massa will be going into the pits. So we'll watch Massa go into the pits, and hopefully a mistake happens, and we will see Gasly scream past. So Massa's gone into the pits. There goes Stroll. Still no Gasly. There goes Gasly. So Gasly has moved up into 10th place, and Massa is now behind Webber, which is really good. We're back up into the points. As you can see, it's 10 points, and Renault are on 12 now. Now, we may see Alonso pitting again. With 16 laps to go, he's more than likely going to have to pit. But look at how far back Gasly is. So Gasly's got a little bit of work to do to close up on him. And we may have to sort of keep an eye, because if we can come out ahead of Alonso, that's fantastic for us. But if Alonso comes out ahead of us, then 10th place is all we can hope for. Now, Kvyat's setting personal bests all the time. His tyre temperatures are a little bit low, as you can see, but he's got a lot of fuel to burn through, because he did just get blue flagged by Vettel, as you did see. So we can sort of see Button maybe coming into the Kvyat's clutches a little bit, but unfortunately Kvyat's such a long way away from the points that I think Kvyat's done. As there you go, Kvyat's just got another blue flag now, as that's second place Hamilton that's closing up. And as you can see, Hülkenberg is right behind Kvyat. So as you can see, Renault are on a bit of a charge, because they think, hang on a second, Toro Rosso are closing up big time here. As there you go, Kvyat, what are you doing, buddy? He's just let Hülkenberg go past, and he's still got to let Hamilton go past, and Hamilton's squeezed past Hülkenberg without too much difficulty there. So we've lost out to Hülkenberg, unfortunately. That's frustrating, as we're now down into 15th place. So we've got to keep an eye on Hülkenberg, but he's 17 seconds behind Gasly, so we can relax a little bit there. Raikkonen has just gone fastest. Gasly is only 2.3 seconds ahead of Webber. Webber's on a bit of a charge, but Webber will most likely have to pit again. I think he might. He'll definitely be able to go if he can go to the end on those soft tyres. I reckon he can, but he's going to be really burning through those tyres very, very quickly. So they've sort of done a gamble, I think, because obviously they need points. 11th place doesn't help them. So he's going to be really, really pushing and maybe going for another stop, and hope that there's a safety car that comes out and he'll be on fresh rubber. But at the moment, I don't think anything's really going to help him. But Gasly, there you go. Now Alonso's just dived into the pits. So where does that bring him? Where does it bring him? Oh, we got ahead of him. We're up into 9th place. Now, Alonso will be closing in big time because Alonso is just there. So Alonso will be closing up on Gasly and will most likely squeeze ahead of him. But this is going to be interesting to see just how good Gasly is. Because if Gasly is can hold off Alonso and stay in 9th place, then Gasly is our driver of the day by far, but I really don't think it's going to happen because Alonso's got fresh mediums and he's already closing in as Kvyat's now getting stuck behind blue flag after blue flag after blue flag. So Kvyat's race is done. Gasly, meanwhile, he's just set a personal best. Great work for him. And we can look at bumping Kvyat back up onto his fuel again. Now, here comes Alonso now. Alonso's closing in, so let's bump up the engine mode for Gasly a little bit and let's see if we can hold off. It just about does. He's got his nose ahead, but Alonso's side by side. He's a great racer, and that's why he's got ahead. So, unfortunately, we didn't hold on to 9th place for very long, but we did hold on to 10th place, and we've now only 2.5 seconds ahead of Massa, and he is on a charge. So, holding on to 10th place could be very, very difficult for us. Let's see what we can do, though. We can back Gasly off a little bit again with 10 laps to go, and he's 2.3 seconds ahead of Massa. So, keep an eye on that one down there. 2.3 seconds, we don't want that to close down. We want that to stay at 2.3 for as much as we can. With 10 laps to go, that means the longer we can hold off, the better. But it's already dropping. It's down to 2.2 seconds now. Massa's on a bit of a charge. Let's have a look. They've got very, very similar tyre strategies in terms of tyre burn, but in terms of fuel burn, Massa's in huge save mode at the moment, so they must have burned through a lot of fuel. So that means the race could come back to us a little bit in terms of Gasly. He may be able to stay in that 2.2 seconds, even though his tyres are burning quite quickly. But I can rest assured that I don't think Massa's doing much. Every single lap that we're going around, he's not taking out too much time, so I think we can be quite satisfied with that. We've got a little bit of fuel to burn on Gasly's car as well, so hopefully we can just keep managing the fuel, make sure he gets it down to parity, and then back it off a bit, then back onto a bit more fuel burn, and then hold off any potential advance from Massa. But Massa's taken a huge chunk in that final sector. He's down to 1.5 seconds now, so Gasly's going to have a lot of work to do here to maintain 10th place. This is crucial. We need this 10th place. We need this point. But as it says, it's now down to 1.1 second. Let's have a look at Massa. Look, Massa is really, really burning through those tyres. We're going to bump ours up a little bit as well because we don't want him to close up. He's just used his ERS just to close up even more. He's down to half a second. This is for a points position. Massa's having a look, but can Massa do anything? No, he cannot. Gasly holds on to 10th place. This is the final points position. But look at how close Massa is. He's going to have to really put on something special to get past Gasly. But Gasly is holding on. This is 10th place, remember, people. This is for a point. We stand to pick up a point at the way things stand at the moment. But Williams, they are battling for 4th place. They might even be able to squeeze 3rd if results go their way. But at the moment, Gasly is doing fantastically well. There's not many laps remaining. As Gasly, there you go, there's confirmation. He's defending. There's 6 laps to go. Now, the only thing that helps us is Vettel is closing in on both of these guys. There's Vettel there, as you can see. Now, Vettel will be closing up, and hopefully by the end of just like a couple of laps before the end, hopefully Massa gets a blue flag and he backs off, as he's just lost a lot of time there. He's back to a second now. It looks like he's backed off a touch. That helps us substantially because we can now back off our guy a little bit and then wait for the next pushback from Massa, and then we'll up our fuel burn and our tyre wear yet again. We're at 32%. There's 5 laps to go. So we're definitely going to be able to get to the end, as Kvyat is now battling with Webber to hold off from Webber. I'm not too concerned. Webber's managed to squeeze in front. We're not even going to cut to Kvyat because he's had a shocker of a race. As once again, Massa's on the charge. He's closed up a little bit. We're back to 7/10, 6/10, something like that. So 10th place is so tough. As you can look at that screen there is Vettel there. So Vettel is closing up very, very quickly. So Vettel will be giving blue flags now to both Massa and Gasly. And the longer that we can stay ahead, the better. As Massa's having another look. It's another good corner from Gasly. He's holding off. There you go. Massa's just got the blue flag. We haven't got the blue flag yet, but he's now got the inside line and he gets ahead of Gasly. That's not what I wanted to see. And we've now got the blue flag. We've got work to do now. But the important thing is that there goes Vettel there now. So he's not got quite ahead of Gasly just yet, but he has got ahead of Massa. And we are out at the points. I am so annoyed with 3 laps to go. That is so annoying. We were going to pick up a point, and then we blew it. And that's basically our race done now. Let's go into overtake mode just to see if anything can happen. With a couple of laps to go, we may be able to close up on Massa, because we're burning through. We've got a lot of fuel since we had to, since the blue flag, we had to let Vettel go past, so we managed to save a little bit of fuel. So there may be a potential for a push on. We may be able to close up to Massa, but look at how far Massa's pulling away now, unfortunately. So I'm pretty sure Gasly's race is run. And also, we've now got 1 lap less to challenge, which is frustrating because Vettel did get ahead of us, so we've just been lapped. And we are so close to the points. That's so frustrating. The only good thing is both the Renaults didn't score any points. Both the Haas's and both Team Rapax drivers didn't do anything either. There we go. We are on the final lap now. There's not really much for us to do. So we can just sort of relax. We'll leave it on the fuel burn, just in case something happens. You never know. Stranger things have happened. Massa might run wide or something. But that's the only positives that we could take from this race is the fact that the teams around us didn't score either. That's it at the end of the day. But I'm so bitterly disappointed. We were in 10th place. We were looking really good. And, I mean, the one stopper was the right strategy. As Vettel wins with the fastest lap right at the death. P11, that's okay, I guess, as Gasly comes onto the team radio. Kvyat will be crossing the line very, very shortly. There goes Kvyat there. What a glorious race. Yeah, I love his sarcasm because that was pretty dire from both cars. Gasly didn't do too badly, I'll have to be honest. He didn't do too badly, and holding on to 10th place over a car that's faster than ours on fresher tyres was always going to be difficult. But as I say, the fact that Renault didn't score points, that helps us because they only stay 3 points ahead of us. Rapax and Haas didn't score points, so we maintain 8th place. Not bad, was it? That wasn't too bad. As we've got to wait for all the cars to come back now. So Vettel picks up the win. I can't remember who won in Vancouver, but let's have a quick look. We've got to go through some scrutineering. There could be a possibility. Hopefully Massa was a cheating bastard. And he wasn't. That's a shame. But he did pick up that final points position, and we just missed out by 4 seconds. So frustrating. So frustrating. Kvyat down in 16th place then. But like I say, Rapax, Haas, and Renault were all below us. 14th and below was all the guys that were battling away. So Vettel finished ahead of Hamilton by quite a way, nearly 14 seconds. And Hamilton's teammate Bottas came in 3rd. Daniel Ricciardo started on pole, only picked up 4th place. So something, I don't know how he picked up 4th place with the Renault, with the Red Bull, I should say, how he picked up pole with it. He must have put in an absolute stormer of a lap. So there's confirmation. Nothing really changed there by the looks of it. We still remain in 8th place. We can do something there. We can get Renault. I'm sure of it. But what a frustrating race that was. I've got no words because I'm so frustrated that we were looking in the points positions, and then with like 3 laps to go, fucking Vettel came along, blue flagged, and Massa saw his chance and squeezed past. Really frustrating. Kvyat's got really poor morale now. Gasly's improved across the board a little bit. I'd love to see him improve a little bit more, but look at the difference in ability. You can tell that Kvyat's the better driver. But I think Toro Rosso, if we had better drivers, we'd be so much further up the field. It's unbelievable. But here we go. We did pick up another 2 million, so we're now at 10 million, which is fantastic. But not a great result. Formula 2, let's have a quick look at Formula 2. Let's see how Leclerc finished in 7th. Where did Naj finish? He finished down in 13th place. Not the best result for him. And let's have a quick look. As Koiranen stay in 3rd place, but then they've closed up on Sauber, so they've even got a sniff of 2nd place here. Verline and Winkelhock there at 8th and 9th for Sauber. Frustrating. Yeah, not a bad result, was it? I mean, I can't complain too much, as I say. The teams around us didn't do well, but that 1 point would have made a big difference as we started pushing towards Renault. And unfortunately, it didn't happen, did it? So pop a thumbs up on there for me. Do me a favour. That'll cheer me up. See you later.